Alrighty, happy September 3rd. Thought I'd just do a quick unboxing of my current and favorite setup that I have. I have this, my surge turned off, but I'll get to that later. Primarily, I like my three main indicators for my favorite setups. And the surge is really good for like waiting around for like the A plus setup, right? I'll get to that in a little bit. But basically, as you look at, if you look at the course of the day, and let's go by one by one here. So basically, this will start at the bottom here. So the bottom two indicators are essentially confirmation indicators with some momentum. So you can almost trade off the meter by itself, as you can see. When it's blue, the bottom one's a little more of a longer term one, so it just gives you more validation. But in either case, if this turns blue, then you want to be bullish. And if it turns gold, either you take a pause, get out, be flat. And you can see how it's not perfect here because you have to go flat, then have you go long, and you'd be taking a little loss, but then you'd be getting out when it turns gold. But then, obviously, as you see, as it turns red, you're turning short, and then it kind of bounces around a little bit, and then you can see how it does okay, right? It's not going to be the most leading indicator in the world, but it's definitely going to give you some pretty good opportunity. And like any indicator, it's not going to totally save you from chop, so it's definitely not one that you definitely. It was really designed for the first 3-4 hours of the market, not really the pre-market where the moves aren't you get some micro trends, and not that you couldn't use it, but it does better when you have more extended moves that you get after the cash open. So that's one layer to what we're doing. And then, as you all know, the primary thing we do here is we have our GAN levels, right? And I have it set. So you click on the gearbox. You can certainly change it to 1 hour. I personally don't go that low. I think 4 hour is kind of the sweet spot, or even if you go to the daily. But the daily will give you less trades. Now you could use the daily, and oftentimes you might be just using the mid-level a lot because the chance of it doing a full daily GAN to GAN is it can happen, but you can see there's definitely some trades from the mid-level. It almost comes down to the daily, but not quite. Versus that's why I like the 4 hour, is it gets pretty close on many trades. So on the 4 hour, a lot of times when it's failing to get above, you don't know the future. When price is failing to get above there, one of the core concepts is as price isn't. And we use other confirmations too, and you can see how this meter comes into play a little bit. When price is coming down, a lot of times you're just scalping from close proximity of the GAN down to the mid-level, and then a lot of times I will take a mid-level trade to the GAN. So you can see how that's a really good trade. Right here as it kind of dips down, retraces up a little bit, and you get the meter here. So like from using a GAN level and confirmation, I love that trade. And then you can even look long here. This is my favorite kind of trades. As price is breaking up over a 4 hour. Now you can take the break, but then when it retests right to the tick, and then you have blue, and then you're just scalping from here and taking profit there. And then as you can see, you don't almost get a full GAN, almost full GAN again. And you can see it doesn't quite get up there. It does like a double top thing. And as you all know, this could be like a bull flag sometimes. So we trade reactions at levels we don't predict. So as it's coming down, you can see how even here, you're not looking to buy just because it hits this level, right? You could take a breakout lower here, and you can see that you could just scalp a little bit there. It does start consolidating right here. So there is kind of like a rejection trade there, comes down, rejection trade. I tend to be, as price comes back below the GAN, I tend to be bearish, right? Because it's below the GAN. In this case, it peaks, so it's peaking, it peaks. So these aren't longs per se. When nothing's 100%, but you have a candle close, this kind of situation, I tend to be more bullish. And then as you can see, it comes right back and would, in essence, either bounce me out, or a lot of times, if I'm long like this, my stop would be maybe just below the GAN, and then when it's moving in my favor, I move it in my break even. So, and you can also see this is kind of later in the day too, but either case, that'd be like a break even or a small loss trade. As it comes below, you could short it here and scalp a little bit here. You can see it gets a little bumpy here. Doesn't quite get down to this GAN here. And you can see with the meter though, you can kind of parlay that up there. And anyway, so you can see that's just a couple ways to do it. And you see how beautiful this is. And this is later on in the day. But look at this, all this consolidation. Price cannot get below the 30, right? It just gives you a lot of confidence. And now you could have gone long here. You've been testing your patience a little bit. Eventually it does launch off, and usually this time frame you're closed out sometimes before this maybe even happens anyway. At least with my broker, I like to be done before that. I like to kind of catch these like that. If I catch that, I'm done for the day, or if I catch that, I'm done for the day. I don't need to scalp all day. And then to layer on top of that, probably the easiest thing you can do is add the delta. So if you're getting like a delta level with blue, that's like great scalp there. Sadly, there was no delta coming off here. I don't really wait for deltas. They're more, it's nice that they pop up. And sometimes when they do fire, it's awesome. Like you can see, not great here. You have, above the 4 hour with the meter, you're good. And then you can see how good the deltas are here selling off. Actually, it was short here. It was pretty cool. Just shorted down here. And so the deltas do come in play. Again, if you match them together, you can get some nice scalps out of it. So you're getting, again, let's see here. Let's just kind of go back to this retracement. You're getting like you get a break of the 4 hour. That's like a huge thing, right? There's like five built-in things there. So that's like 6 reasons to be long there. And then I guess you don't really have the delta. So, but you have like 6, 7 reasons why you should be long right here. So that's pretty good. That's where we call it stacked. At least that's what I call it, stacking things in your favor for a high probability setup. That, even when it's all stacked, it can go wrong on you. But over the time, over the course of many trades, if you're stacking on every trade and charting it and documenting, likely you'll see that you do have an edge, that your win rate will be just give you that edge that you need to be profitable. Now we do have the compass, which adds on a few extra lines, and so for some people it might be too many, but the indicator is so powerful. The yellow line is the VWAP, and you can see price will respect the VWAP. So you can almost same kind of situation here is price breaks above the VWAP, it does come below, ultimately it breaks up again. Look at it retraces. And that's where I'd be long here. You have the meter, blue, and then you can see you have these orbs. These orbs represent price action of the first 30 minutes of the cash open. So basically, when price is above these, the green and red, you want to be bullish. If it breaks below it, you can see how it comes down. If it breaks below there, you want to be bearish. Now you can see the consolidation can be tricky. But you still be guardful because just because it hits the red, you're not shorting, right? You're getting a bullish delta, and then it fails right at the top of the orb. And look at that, it comes right down. So you can use the compass to scalp really well. Minus when it gets outside of it, hence why you mix it all together. Price fails to get above here, and it comes down here, right to the VWAP, and again. So not again. No, sorry. The VWAP. So the VWAP actually is there is some proximity from these two levels here. So anyway, that's kind of like. Now I do have the surge. The surge is kind of a standalone per se. It's a stacking indicator, and you can see I have it on. There's different settings obviously for it, but you can play around with that. There's a hedge. kind of like a hedge fund version. There's also like you can turn on the hedge fund. It'll give you less trades. You can see that one wasn't great. You can do A plus only. So it did, you know, that you would have lost. Let's just say you would have taken that. That was, we bibsawed. So sadly, the hedge didn't do too well today, and that's just part of it. There'll be days when it does really well. That's why I don't really, I think here, what does it do? Even there, A plus, so actually let's turn off the A plus. You can see that there are days where just, you know, when there's really a lot of momentum, like on Friday, or like on Tuesday, sorry. Man, what some great shorts there. If you're gonna go back here. So I mean, it does work. It's just, it's looking for when really everything's firing. And so, you know, you can definitely get bounced on some of the setups there, but you know, that's the way trading is. If you turn off the A plus, let's see here, it's getting too, I don't like my mouse. Let's see if anything changes. So you can see, yeah, that's kind of late in the day. See, this is yesterday, or what I said, this is this morning. Some decent longs there. Again, that one got bounced. That's decent. And you can see how at the end of the day it did come in late, firing. But again, I think this will be too late in the day. So anyway, that's a way to use the surge if you like kind of waiting and knowing that, yeah, that those not every signal is going to be perfect, but there is some good things with it that I think can help traders, and you can just turn off like them just to see what it's going to provide you. So you can see some, and when you combine it again with the meter and everything else, it might get a little crazy. So you might not need the delta in that case, and just if you're trading off signals. I personally just trade off levels mainly. I do have it on there in case. Just sometimes I take a look at it, but basically I'm more of like a level with confirmation trader, and so when you widen this out, it doesn't get too crazy. Because even if I'm on a 1 minute chart, I'm still trading on a higher time frame because I'm using the 4 hour or the mid level as my kind of main trigger. I mean, the area that I want to be trading at. I don't want to be trading too. I mean, this is a little tricky because you're getting kind of in the middle, and that's where trading isn't always perfect. But I definitely like it when you're getting signals and the actions near the GAN line or the mid level of the GAN. Again, I like to be near as I can. So like, let's just say this was around like 10 o'clock New York time. I would love this. This is kind of late in the day, but when it's near a 4 hour and then you're getting everything firing, that's like A plus for me. So anyway, just wanted to do a quick breakdown of just kind of like my favorite chart setup. And I think, I think I'll cover that, and I'll do a little video about our ninja progress. So I'll be back in a second here. Anyway, thanks guys. Take care.